Welcome to the NRT Now podcast, giving you the latest in Christian music news, topics, and artist interviews directly from the largest Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com. Now, here's your host, Jake.
Hey, welcome to the Yeah America episode of the NRT Now podcast. So this is themed around the Celebrate Freedom event that we went to at the end of June, where we saw Austin French, Mandisa for King Country, some other awesome artists, saw our 4th of July fireworks, as well as, we interviewed our guest for today on the 4th of July here. So talking about the 4th of July, it's Independence Day. A lot of us call it the 4th of July. That's just how we know it. It's a holiday here in the U.S. where we take a day to gather around the grill, suck up to our friends with a pool in their backyard so, we can catch an invite. And, well, let's say a lot of us need a day off the day after to recover. It's a holiday halfway in the summer between Memorial and Labor Day, which we do, well, the same things that we do on the 4th. But, unfortunately, this is sometimes as far as the holiday goes. We don't put much more thought into what it's really about. I mean, we know it's about celebrating the birth of our country and all, and just the awesome freedoms that we have in this country that we don't have, that other people around the world don't have. But the gravity of what it's all about just doesn't always sink in. And I think there's a good parallel there to our relationship with Christ. We know it's there. We love it. We know what he did. We know what he did on the cross, but the true gravity of what happened just gets lost in the routine and the familiarity. While that's a whole topic in and of itself, I'd just like to take this podcast and to talk a little bit about, freedom and unity, since we are talking about the 4th of July and freedom here. So, freedom is a topic that is talked about all throughout the Bible. Fairly early on, the Israelites got enslaved by the Egyptians. There's a whole big batch of no bueno there, and out of that comes the story of Moses and the Exodus. When they got to the Promised Land, they saw that it was a challenge to settle in what God had promised them. So they talked about going back to slavery in Egypt, where it was familiar. It wasn't good, but it was familiar. Once they got through that, they were governed through God-appointed judges. Once they were settled in their land, but that wasn't good enough either, and they wanted a king because all the other nations had it. So God granted their wish, and that led to all sorts of bad juju throughout the Old Testament. A lot of wars and just a lot of bad stuff happened once they got their king. So we switch over to the New Testament, and Christians are being persecuted for their faith. They're absolutely not free to be who they are, to follow their faith, to do what they know is right. So Paul talks a lot about being free in Christ while, ironically, he's chained up in jail. It's not necessarily the bondage that the Israelites were in, but early Christ followers were forced into being underground as well. So while we here in the States don't know about being slaves, at least not in this current time, it still very much exists in the world, and it doesn't know no age, no nationality. I mean, it's truly, truly very tragic. In some countries still, you just flat can't be a Christian. Talking or worshiping about God is an immediate death sentence. Talking about it here is either accepted, or you get an eye roll, or at worst get yelled at, or lawsuits. But it's a far cry from a death sentence. The depth of our understanding of physical or political freedom can be taken for granted. Spiritual freedom is a whole topic altogether. There's a very good reason why Paul talks about it a lot through his letters. Physical or political freedom is awesome in this lifetime, which is the short term, but spiritual freedom is what really matters for eternity. There's plenty that shackles us here in the U.S., especially, greed, envy, lust, and that's just naming a few. And yeah, I know a lot of us have heard this all the time. It's an annual thing that goes through Facebook every 4th of July. It makes its rounds through the pulpit. And you're probably asking, why are we talking about that, here in a podcast about music? That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about music. Well, I'm setting the context here to talk about just some of the music that talks about this freedom in Christ. And so a few songs that come to mind for me. We've got Freedom from Jesus Culture. I mean, it's right there in the title. We got Freedom Hymn from Austin French, which, once again, it's right in the title. And if you hear Austin's story, the freedom that he has and the freedom that came through Christ for him is just amazing. No Longer Slaves from Bethel, Chainbreaker from Zach Williams, and not long ago, Zach Williams actually went into a prison and recorded a live album, recorded a lot of his music live with prisoners there worshiping with him. And a freedom that came over that prison facility was incredible. Those guys are still incarcerated. They're still paying for their crimes, but there's a freedom that transcends where they were at. I Am Free, taking it back a little bit old school with the Newsboys. And then Amazing Grace, My Chains Are Gone through Chris Tomlin. These are just a few that come to me. We definitely want to hear what you think. So find the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter post for this episode here, and then let us know what your favorite song is that talks about freedom, that talks about the freedom in Christ. So with the freedom side, I'd also like to talk about unity and equality here. Paul talked a lot about unity in Christ. Jesus told the parable of the Good Samaritan, which tells us that even the people that we don't put very much value on or our enemies, they're still our neighbors, which means they have a place in heaven as well. So at the end of the day, there's nobody who is not welcome in heaven, which is ultimately our final destination. We're all united in heaven. We're all worshiping Christ. We're all worshiping God. I mean, that's what's important. So that means we should be united with these same people here on earth. But for some reason, even as Christians, we aren't. Even in the church, we aren't united sometimes. So when the Declaration of Independence was written, the authors said this: "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness." The authors of the Declaration of Independence understood the importance of a person being equal to his neighbor. And, before we get too far down that road, I read men in this text as mankind, people, not just males, not the literal men, but people. So they understood it from a biblical perspective. They understand that this concept comes straight from our Creator. They believed in this strongly enough that it's worth fighting for, even if that means abolishing a government to make sure it happens. Or, in this case, for the United States, taking on the largest empire in the world at the time as a bunch of scrubs, as a bunch of amateurs. So note that this says that the truth is that all men are created and are equal. Not that all men will have equal outcomes, but that's a whole different conversation for a different time here. So back to where we're going. Like I said, this isn't a political, this is a music podcast, but, in our country today, we've somehow lost sight of this concept of equality and unity as humans. Racism, sexism, ageism, classism, a bunch of isms that separate us. We have a rift between political parties and ideologies. It's undeniable that our country is so divided right now. I know that there's a lot of stuff in our history that's been awful, and I really don't want to downplay that at all. Can I just say flat out that it sucked? There's just no other way to say it. But, we have the history to learn from it, if we will. As Christians, we should be leading this charge from inside the church, and I say that as the Big C church, as the body of Christ. We should be leading this charge for equality and unity, but we're not immune from it from within the church as well. We have the propensity to gather in our circles and look inward. We think differently about those who don't believe. We think differently about other denominations, that their theology is wrong, they don't do service right, this isn't right, we have it right. And we can also buy into our culture, which is talking, that they're always talking about the subject. And sometimes we buy into that, even if it's not biblical. And I'm saying we as a global thing, and I'm saying can as a global thing, because there are a lot of Christians who are really leading the charge to equality and that are really leading great topics on this subject. And once again, this isn't a political thing, but it's really a setup to where I'm going, and what I want to talk about in the Christian music world. So back in 2011, I think it was January, I met a guy named B. Haley, and some of you know the name. He just retired from being the drummer in Toby Mac's Diver City Band. At the time, Toby Mac rolled through my town. He was on the Winter Wonder Slam tour, if any of y'all remember that. And at the time, I was living in the middle of Wyoming, so January there was cold, like cold. Like it was throwing water in the air and it froze before it hit the ground, kind of cold. I was a runner and driver that day, among many other hats, and I had the chance to pick up this guy named B. Haley. I didn't know anything more than that at the time. I had the chance to pick him up from the gym, and we were running around town to find a protein shake, which turned out to be more of a challenge than I think either one of us expected. So that gave us a little bit of time to talk, and as we were running around town, I was just really struck by his authenticity and his openness. And so this was a guy that I wanted to follow a little bit over the years. And so fast forward a little while, I'd say he was saying the last 5 years, he's had the opportunity to take the stage at a Toby Mac concert and talk about unity, how we're all one in God's kingdom. Doesn't matter race, denomination, believer, non-believer, socioeconomic status, cop, civilian, we are one. We are one people. And I had the chance to sit down with him, while he was on this year's Hits Deep tour, and it was just such an awesome conversation. And one of the things that we talked about was the unity being driven in Christian music. Toby Mac has been intentional about creating a group that is diverse and celebrating the unity with us. We went back and talked a little bit about DC Talk, not only their group dynamic, but the song Colored People. I got to see Colored People performed live on both Jesus Freak cruises, and it was incredible to be engulfed by the atmosphere and the message and the heart of that song. And to just see from stage how they're pouring that message into that song. And that song was so relevant in its time, but yet it still carries that same power, and if not even more power today, over 20 years later. So another one that we talked about was Mandisa and her song Bleed the Same. And what an incredible song celebrating unity in Christ. I've got to see her sing the song with both Austin French and Danny Goki. It was recorded with Toby Mac. So there's 3 different personalities, 3 different voices, 3 different hearts that I've heard that song that I've heard in that song. And it's interesting just how each artist brings a different dynamic and just a different power to that song. B is going to be out on the road, and he's going to be out with concert tours. That's still yet to be announced. We haven't heard where he's going yet, but I'm excited to see this flag of unity being carried across the country through the vessel of Christian music. And I love that it gives him that platform, that Christian music gives that platform and that availability to talk about this and how we as Christians can be on the forefront, how we can be leaders in this. And I hope that we're able to take that up and carry it through our community. and Christian artists are giving us great music to do so. And, I kind of want to end this part of it here just saying, I love our country. I love the freedoms that we have. The sacrifices that those in the military have made, that our officers make, just the people who lay it on the line so that we are able to have these freedoms that people in other countries don't have is truly amazing. I think I've gone on, enough about this, and I understand it got a bit heavy, but I think it kind of goes down that path of, I love that Christian music is taking on these tough issues, and they're carrying the message of it through song, and it's something that we can all carry on and that sticks with us through music. And at times these topics are uncomfortable, but, bands like DC Talk, like Mandisa, that are out there talking about it. I think Kirk Franklin is talking about it as well. He's got some good music that kind of runs down these same lines of unity. I mean, that's powerful, and that's part of the power of Christian music, is that can bring us together on the topic here. So with that, I'd like to shift the episode to, like I said, what is very rapidly becoming my favorite part, is just getting to hear the heart behind artists and talking with artists and why they're doing what they're doing here. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, this interview was on the 4th of July. Ben Calhoun and Citizen Way were in my neck of the woods. So I went and got to hang out with them before we had all of our family celebrations here. They were playing at a youth conference in one of the awesome hotels in our area here. So I got to sit in for sound check, and not only do I just love sound check and just seeing that process, but I also got to get a sneak peek at their new song that's going to be coming out, and it's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome, guys. So after that was done, they're all set. I got the chance to sit down with him, talk about his ministry, what's coming up next, and also a little bit about where he's been and the seasons that he's gone through to get here. And then after that, we were able to create a little video with some party poppers. That was our day of 4th of July fireworks. It was fun. It was awesome. Loved hanging out with Ben for the chance that I had to. So there's lots of good stuff happening with Citizen Way. Let's take a listen. Hey everybody, we're here with Ben Calhoun of Citizen Way, fresh out of soundcheck here.
Woo! Hi everyone. I am indeed, as he says, Ben Calhoun from Citizen Way, and I'm fresh out of soundcheck.
So we're here at a youth conference here in Grapevine, Texas. I forget where we are in the Metroplex half the time.
Yeah, Dallas area. Yeah, we like it down here.
Awesome. So
Texas is big and hot, and we like it.
Yes, very hot. So this resort here is famous for, in the winter, they have a huge ice show around Christmas. So we're quite on the opposite end of that spectrum today here. I didn't even check the temperature what it is today, but I'm sure it's mid-90s.
It is comfortably hot for me. I like the hot, so I'm good.
For those of us who haven't attended a Citizen Way show or have been around Citizen Way, tell us a little bit about Citizen Way.
Well, we exist to do what our name says. I'm a citizen in the kingdom of heaven, following the way, the truth, and the life. And that's our Savior Jesus. So anybody who wants to be a part of that, we invite them to the family. The most powerful family in the world, the family of God. We write songs accordingly, allow the scriptures that support these songs to, be used by the Holy Spirit to influence kids and families. We live in a day and age where it is very dangerous in some parts of the world to have a Bible, to have even just to go to church. And so we, as believers and in Christian music, that's what we stand on. We're not really interested in doing other things. That's what we like to do. We like to make great music, have great time together. We're best friends. We've been around together for almost 15 years now, and that's our purpose.
So you use the word musicianary. I'm happy I got that the first time around. I was worried about that all the way over here.
Musicianary. It's a term I started using some years ago. I've been raising money for our our ministry just like a missionary would, just like a lot of nonprofits do. And we started a ministry called Generosity Rocks that seeks to empower musicians to go and share the good news of Jesus and inspire generosity in his name. So one of the ways we do that is we give 10% of our merch sales to a local ministry. A lot of times it's a moms and babies ministry or homeless shelter or a food bank or just a family in need. And it comes from Proverbs 11:22, a generous man will prosper, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. So giving to other people, giving to the places we go is a lot more meaningful than just getting on a plane, going, playing a show, getting on a plane, going home.
And you just released a new video for that, intro video for that, about a week or two ago, if I was seeing that right? For Generosity Rocks?
For Generosity Rocks? No, it's been up for a while. You can go to generosityrocks.com, kind of get the gist of it. But we ask people to support us on a monthly basis, just like they would any nonprofit, and that supports us musicians. And there are a number of musicians on that site that you can see, independent artists that just need help. So what I do is I find artists that aren't signed to a label typically, and help them, connect with a larger audience. And they have to fill the qualifications of just simply being in music to minister the good news of Jesus, and then they fundraise, and it's tax deductible for donors. You can go to generosityrocks.com.
And you just signed Kevin Max, or not necessarily signed, but Kevin Max just joined up.
Kevin just joined up for his project. We've already raised enough money to start 3 songs off the record. And August 20th will be the official launch date. We're doing a soft launch now. And Kevin of DC Talk. And Kevin lives down the street from me. He's a good friend. And we're just, making it happen.
Yeah. And this project is doing a tribute album to Larry Norman.
Yeah, to Larry Norman, which is really great. He's doing the entire album from many years ago that Kevin was really moved by. And so it's already started, and we're really excited about it.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that on the Jesus Freak cruise a few weeks ago.
Oh, you were on that cruise. Great.
Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, my wallet still feels that, but it was a blast. Sure. It was an incredible experience. So he was talking about that, starting that. So it's exciting to see that happen, and through Generosity Rocks as well.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it exists to empower musicians to be a part of whatever the Lord's doing. And Larry was a huge pioneer in our industry, kind of the godfather of Christian rock and roll. And we feel very strongly about making sure that Christian music is Christian. It is like Jesus, and it is for the church, but it invites people in. I have no desire to water down the message. So that's why we do what we do.
So with that, you just issued a press release for your new song, The Lord's Prayer. And you said, we live in a world that craves truth, but we are constantly bombarded with lies. When the people of God sing scripture together, the truth is revealed and evil can be dealt with. We want to lead people to Jesus, the only source of truth and the original author of these words found in Matthew 16.
Yeah.
And you can see that on our website that came out, I think, earlier this week here.
Matthew 6. There we go. I want to make sure I got that right. Yeah. Yeah. That's the basis of the new song, and it's a song I wrote about 7 years ago on tour with Big Daddy Weave, and just always hung around in my head. And we released it, and we hope that people sing it together. That's the goal.
So that comes out, or that just came out through all the streaming platforms. That comes out to radio August 2nd. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, August 2nd.
Awesome.
Yep.
And so that's going to be on the new album, Love is a Lion.
Love is a Lion. Yep. And we're doing that song tonight for the first time, actually.
Yeah, I got to hear that during soundcheck here, and I'm absolutely excited for this.
Oh, great! You like the song?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's different, and there's a lot of words in there, and it's I try not to be so. There's a lot of there's so much packed into the Bible when you actually study it, and I really want to get it out in these songs, and so I hope it comes through because there's a lot in there. Yeah, spit those words out.
But no, just getting to see the sound check and just seeing the process of you guys working through getting this show live. I mean, it's exciting. Sound checks are actually one of my favorite things to see. I mean, the show's
behind
great.
The scenes and all. Yeah.
I mean, the show's great. The songs are great and all that. But, when you guys are working through this, in the sound check, and it's just awesome for me to see, just the process, not only the finished product, but the process that goes into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So with the new album, we have these 2 songs, Love is a Lion. We have The Lord's Prayer. What else are we seeing on this new album coming out?
All of the songs are coming out of the season of life that was the hardest for me. When we lost our son Jeremiah to a miscarriage, we moved to Nashville so I could be around my family more. Two of the members of the band left, my brother and David's brother. And it was just really just a difficult season. I lost a lot of income from moving to Nashville. And so particularly these songs like Be Still and another song called Love Has a Won are really special to me because of that. So I wrote those in the season of life that was just the hardest. And those are the times when you really lean into the verses that, like Psalm 34:18, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. And I just was. So you could hear it on our last record, When I'm With You, and I Will. Those were songs born out of that season too. And it's I'm grateful to have moved on from that season. I'm thankful for it, and I'm thankful to be done with it. Yeah.
Well, and that's sort of makes me a little bit more excited for this album too, because we are not necessarily coming out of that season, but we've gone through 3 miscarriages ourselves over the past few years.
Yeah.
Varying stages. One required emergency surgery, and just that hard. And we're actually pregnant this time around, and it's
first baby, or fourth
second.
For you, but so you already have one.
Yeah, our first one was textbook.
Awesome.
Everything was perfect. Home birth.
Yes.
Everything by the book, and then the next 3, for whatever reason, just didn't happen.
So you have 5 kids total. Because I count our miscarriage. They're children of God.
Yes, they
We're
are.
just waiting to meet them in their new bodies someday. And that's not weird to those of you who are listening. That's what the Bible says.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what it says. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we're coming out of that season as well. We're finally experiencing the goodness. Well, I don't want to say finally experiencing, but, we're experiencing that blessing of God.
Absolutely.
On the other side. And this one hit us like out of nowhere.
Wow.
Absolutely out of nowhere. I mean, we're expecting that, God said biology, and biology said we're done. Just that's it.
Yeah.
Surprise.
He's the author
of
life and death. It's in his control. Amen for that. Well, that's awesome. Praise the Lord for the new little one.
So I'm very excited, just hearing that story behind this album, the season that this album comes from, that's it. I'm a little bit more excited to actually have this album even more than I was. Have this
awesome.
album out. And that's, this is the start of the podcast here. This will be episode 3, I believe.
So I'm number 3. Woo!
Well, technically number 2 album.
2.
I don't know if we count Kevin, our president.
Oh,
he's one. We'll count him half, maybe.
Sure.
But so just at the start of this, I'm talking about how I'm just loving telling the stories from the artists here, from you guys, because there's so much more. Like you're talking about musicianary, that there's more to this music and keeping this music Christian, Christian themed, solid message. I'm loving telling these stories that are coming behind and God's goodness out from the other side of them.
Amen. Yep.
So, this album and hearing where the story is coming from, I'm really excited to see where this album comes.
Me too.
The 2 songs that I've heard so far already gets me excited, but just hearing the rest of it and where this season is coming from is really getting me excited for this album here.
Oh, I love that, man. That's so great. Thank you.
So also along that theme of musicianary here, you have on your website that you've been mentoring Daniel, your guitarist, since he was 11 years old. 11.
Yep.
So not only are you musicianary through here, but you're also mentoring a new generation of artists as well.
Yes. I've been doing the mentoring side of things for a long time. At Judson University, where we started the band, I started the recording arts program there and helped bands get their start and did records with them and helped name some of them. And it was really special for me to be able to pass the torch, train up a child in the way they should go, and then when they're old, they won't turn from it. Proverbs 22:6. And that's the same for young musicians. And I don't know anything about doing my taxes, but I can write a song and help kids understand how to play it and how to perform it and how to do all the things that we do and why they do it, most importantly. And Daniel is my greatest success story as a mentor to a mentoree. He's a disciple, really. And I take that very seriously. So I any young artist that wants to be a part of, learning from me specifically, they can just they can contact me at ben@bencalhoun.com. That's my email. It's actually my email. Yeah.
That's fairly simple to understand,
Yeah.
to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Last weekend in 10 minutes, I think I should be able to remember that.
Right, yeah. That's why I started, it's not officially launched yet, but it's been around for a couple of years now. I started my production company called Jet Feather Artist House that will eventually house more publicly the artists that I have been working with and done records with, because it's teaching basically little songbirds how to fly. That's why I called it Jet Feather, and I love birds. And so that's the idea of making sure that you're staying in your lane the way God's gifted you and making something happen. And really, it's by faith that we do that. And that's like a risk. I like, the definition I like is when you jump off the ledge, you figure out how to fly on the way down. You sprout wings and you learn how to fly. And Daniel, he did everything I told him to do and more. And so I just gave him more opportunities. And so any student out there, any young artist that wants to be part of Generosity Rocks as an artist, maybe you're already established, you can go to my email and just, inquire, and I'd love to meet with you and talk with you. Or if you want to do a song with me and record it, you can even have Citizen Way as a band be your band in the studio. In fact, we've done that. We did that a couple of weeks ago with Tommy Payne. He's one of our Generosity Rocks artists. We have another one coming up next month. And so it's a real thing. You could be in the studio with us. We'll help you do all the things, and you put out a new song as an artist with Citizen Way as your band. It's a real thing.
So the website is live now that I see here. The Jet Feather website.
Is it? Is it really? Oh, nice.
Yeah. I mean, it has a picture of Ben Calhoun on the front here.
From Citizen Way. And then
couple action shots.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. I forgot we did that. And you can go there and you can go press that button, start here. Yeah, great. Yep. And yeah, that's right. You can do a song demo with me. You don't even have to come to Nashville, but I recommend highly you do. And I do this all the time with artists. And so, yeah, you can go to just bencalhoun.com. It works really well.
Yep. And so, some of us, that have been trying to write a song, have a chorus or, just a general idea, they would come to Jet Feather here or, email ben@bencalhoun.com.
Yep.
I remembered it.
Yeah.
That was only 5 minutes, though. We'll give it a few more. But, so we have the idea. You have the idea, and you just email, and then it flies from there.
That's it. Yeah, I'll call you, and we'll talk through what you want. Because the idea is not just to give you a song. The idea is to help you establish a gift, or help you find one that maybe you didn't have. Maybe you're not, and I'm brutally honest, but honest with love. Maybe you're not that great of a singer, but you're a great songwriter, or you're a great instrumentalist, or you're a great songwriter, or you're a great singer, but you need to learn how to play. And so I do everything. I teach you and give you the tools to at least get to the next level. And sometimes it even means, getting signed by a record label. That's happened before, and helping young bands establish that. So whatever it is, I just find a way to help you get there.
Awesome. So something that I had never known that was happening is the Citizen Way box through Faithbox. I had never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, we have a big part of that coming out soon, actually, with our donors through Generosity Rocks. We're actually not with Faithbox anymore. We just did that for Christmas, but we kept all the boxes, and we love what they did. So we're like, can we buy more boxes from you? So what we're doing is if you want to be a donor to generosityrocks.com under the Citizen Way team, we're going to be giving more information soon, but it's basically a box with our ugly mugs on it. And inside will be the new album. We're going to wait till the new album comes out. We might even make some vinyls. Who knows? Some merchandise, some balsamic vinaigrette from our sponsor, Urban Market in Franklin, Tennessee, with our names on them, and a bunch of other things. And that comes to your door, and you get to be part of our team, being a part of helping us to do what we do, because the music industry it's just so different than it used to be. You have to find other ways to actually make a living. So we started Generosity Rocks because we want to keep doing this and giving people an opportunity to, support us financially every month is huge. And so we have donors that literally, that's how we do this. We have about 20 donors a month that give anywhere from $25 on up the scale to, there's one gentleman who bought me a used car, but he drove it down from Michigan. And
wow.
Yeah. And it was because I didn't have one. I moved to Nashville and we had one car, and I was trying to write songs and everything. And he's like, no, we need to get you squared away. So that's how we do this. It's really ministry, because a lot of times you have an enemy, everywhere you go, and people want you to do stuff for free typically. And we just can't. And so in this day and age in the industry, it is what it is. People don't buy music anymore like they used to. And it's so different. You got to find other ways. So that's what we did.
So the industry changes and you got to change with it.
Yeah, I think it's just better to just figure out how to do your own thing and make the industry come to you.
Yep.
I think it's a lot harder, and most people don't do that, but that's what I decided to do.
So with the Generosity Rocks, we keep coming back to that. On the site, it's saying that, you're able to come in studio and help record. Well, not help, but, be there as you guys record some of the new songs. Is that still running?
We did that for the entire record, and we had people come join us. You have 2 nights at Dark Horse Studios in Franklin. It includes your food for that day from Urban Market, our sponsor. And a lot of people ended up doing claps or singing some oohs and ahs. And like on the Lord's Prayer, Daniel's sister and mom were there. And our donors were there, and Jason and Laura Shepard, and it was awesome. It was just awesome, and they got to be there all day with us, and it was just fabulous. It was really special, and every song was like that. And so we had a donor for every song, and paid for the record.
That's awesome. So this is coming out with a new tour this fall.
Yeah.
Jason Gray and the Young Escape, I understand, are along with the ride with you guys.
Yep. Yeah, we love Jason. He's a good friend of ours, and we took out the Young Escape this spring for a weekend, and they were great. And we have the same manager, and so it was easy to hook them up with us. And then we have we finalized a Christmas tour with New Song. We'll be going out with them. We're also taking a trip to Washington, D.C. With anybody who wants to come. You can go to christmasinthecapital.net, I believe, and CAPITAL, christmasinthecapital.net. You can come with us and the Nealons, Michael English, and some other artists. And we actually tour Washington, D.C. in a bunch of buses together with you guys. We do some concerts. There's some very, very cool surprises that will happen. We go to the White House. We go to some of the Capitol buildings. We go to the Museum of the Bible. It's really special. It's I think it's a Tuesday through a Thursday or Friday in December. Yeah, there is. Christmas in the Capitol, December 2nd through 5th. You can actually go with us, and you can find more about that at christmasinthecapital.net. It's very cool.
So are the dates set for the tour in the fall here?
Yeah, we have 6 officially already, and you can become a promoter. You can become, if you're a promoter out there, want to bring us to your town, just go to citizen-way.com.
All right. So do you know if you're coming back to the Dallas Metroplex here
If
again?
you book it, we will come.
So no official dates as of...
I don't know. I mean, I look at the calendar sometimes the day of where we're going. I showed up in Dallas here. I'm like, oh, we're in Dallas. Cool.
I have not been to a Citizen Way show yet,
Oh,
unfortunately.
cool. Yeah,
First
time.
I think one day off. You were in Wyoming in 2016 at a festival I was at.
Wyoming. Oh, that's awesome. We love Wyoming. Was it outdoor during 4th of July?
Not during the 4th of July. It was in August.
Oh, was it outside?
Yes, it was.
I remember that. Beautiful day.
Yep. I was there the Friday night, and I think, who was that? Seventh Time Down.
Yeah.
Was the headliner the Friday night that night. And then I was there for a few minutes on Saturday. I think you were on the day with Tadashi was the headliner that day.
Oh,
if I remember correctly.
I'm trying to remember those days. Gosh, that's fun. We love those guys. Good people.
That was only 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And how many shows past that?
Oh, hundreds. Yeah.
So, I expect you to remember this one specific event from all this time ago here.
Right. Yeah.
But I think because I was looking through some of the pictures from it's called Uprising Wyoming is what it was. And I was looking through some of the pictures and I was like,
oh, Uprise. I remember that. Uprising Music Festival. Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see if I can find the pictures again.
That's great.
Here.
Yeah, we love out west, especially. It's so gorgeous out there. It's one of those things that we'll play wherever somebody books us, and we want to come and. Oh my gosh, that's me from 3 years ago. Look at that. There's that Jesus Saves, bro. I'll give you a little tip. The next album is likely going to be called Jesus Saves, bro.
I love it.
Yeah, we've already started to work on it. In fact, we have a few songs done, and it's going to be a very, very fun album. Very fun.
So this one hasn't even hit market yet, and all of a sudden we're looking at the next one.
Yes, I'm really interested in putting out more music in general, just faster, more turnover. And I'm really hoping Christian radio and Christian music will just kind of get faster at getting stuff from artists instead of, one song every couple of years. It's just too slow. So, oh, look at that. That's me and Chad. Chad is the lead singer of a band called Mass Anthem, a band that I actually helped develop for many years. I did help them do their first 2 records. I actually named them. And they're awesome guys. They're really awesome. Great songwriters. You should check them out. And, oh, look at that. Yes, that's me. With some folks there. Some kids. Oh, that's so great.
You're actually able to ditch the jacket by that point.
Yeah, it was a hot day, man. Oh, yeah, totally. Those are some folks that we love. Now, that area of the country is very special. That area of the country is very special to me, just because we used to tour there back in the day with the first band I was in called Stained Glass, and I just have great memories. And the Lord is at work in Wyoming.
Absolutely.
At Uprising, bring us back.
And this is actually where we're from originally. We moved down here about 7 years ago.
Did you start the festival?
I did not. One of my good buddies is at least on the ground floor. I'm not sure if he founded it but he was on the ground floor of it. And so I've gone back when I can to help with the festival. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, like I said, I was actually here, at the festival at this point here. Not when the pictures were taken, not when you guys were performing. Like I said, it was Mama's birthday party.
Yeah.
So, headed out a little bit west, even from Casper here. But so, like I said, I was actually here at this event for a little bit. But
awesome.
Whenever I can go back, I always try and help out where I can. So
that's great. Casper, that's right. It was in Casper.
Yep.
I remember that. Yeah, I'd love to go back.
Yeah. So home for us, it's absolutely a gorgeous part of the country.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Is there anything else that you want to share with us, while we're here?
Man, I would love for people to join us and help support us. You can go to generosityrocks.com. You can donate to Citizen Way on a monthly basis, and you get a newsletter from me. It's tax deductible. We need people to support us. We really do. That's how we are able to continue to do this. We also want to make sure that, especially the young people out there who are watching the supernatural in the movies that they see. We just went to see Endgame with my family. I want to encourage you to look in what the Bible says about all of that, because there is so much of Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and, Avengers that is being taught to you by the enemy. But the real supernatural stuff where that all starts is right in the Bible. And if you're bored with church out there, if you're just bored doing the Sunday morning church thing, if you're bored just because you just don't know why, you just don't know what it is about it, but you're really hungry for the truth of God's word, then I would challenge you, first of all, to read it, to find some good Bible study teachers, and to really dig in cover to cover, believe what it says, and believe it as the truth. Believe it's a supernatural prophetical book that is talking about exactly what's happening in our world today, and that there are things that are coming in the future that are really scary if you don't know what Scripture says about them. And when you do, it's not scary at all. In fact, that's why it's called our blessed hope. And so for you young people who think this whole religion thing is just not for you, I agree. I don't think religion is the thing. It's a relationship with Jesus. It's a relationship. And that's what I'm really passionate about to share. The good news of Jesus is that there is an escape from whatever you're going through, as well as what the world is going to go through, because the Bible has the story and it was told about what was going to happen in front of us thousands of years ago. And it's the best story ever, and that's why you see it in the movies. But they're only giving you a fraction of it. Don't go into this new season of your life tomorrow without having the foundation of God's word in your heart. And that's why it says, hide it in your heart so that you might not sin against God. Sin is what separates us from God, and Jesus is the atonement for sin. And so, man, stop playing church. Pick up your Bible and do something about your faith and be active. And you have to know what it says in order to do that. And then ask the Holy Spirit when you wake up in the morning, what should I do, Lord, with my life, my talents and my skills? And be amazing at it. And for you young men especially, put down the video games and pick up a skill instead. That's what I would say. And you young ladies, find the guys who are willing to do that.
Awesome. Well, so we need to remember Generosity Rocks, Jet Feather, and Ben at Ben Calhoun.
At bencalhoun.com if you want to email me as a young artist or as a possible artist with a Generosity Rocks roster. We're looking for young artists that want to be a part of sharing the good news of Jesus and giving 10% of where they go to local communities. We want to be a part of the communities that we're in. And if you have the means out there and you need a tax deduction this year and you want to give to somebody who shares the gospel in a way that you don't know how or can't really from where you are, you can go to generosityrocks.com. You find Citizen Way and you can donate to us on a monthly basis. And we really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ben.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, Jake. It's good to be with you. God bless you, buddy. Congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you, and happy 4th.
Thank you. I love this holiday. It's David's birthday, by the way, our drummer.
Is it really?
Yes. So you can wish him a happy birthday on his day.
And birthday cake is, I hope, in order.
I actually have no idea. We'll find something, yes. In Texas, it might be some Texas toast or something.
Barbecue.
Barbecue, there we go, yeah.
Barbecue for birthday cake.
There we go.
I love it.
Barbecue cake, there it is.
I wonder
Barbecue flavored cake.
In September, October State Fair, I mean, it's got to be deep fried
barbecued birthday cake. That is heaven.
That's gotta happen.
And a heart clogger.
Absolutely. This isn't a health podcast by any stretch.
We're all in the mood for a little bit of unhealth. And I look forward to not eating that. Thanks for having me with you, man.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, buddy. Have a great day.